The Minnesota Timberwolves made one of the biggest moves of the NBA offseason, trading for Rudy Gobert. They traded multiple first-round picks in 2023, 2025, and 2027, as well as pick swaps and players to acquire the three-time Defensive Player of the Year. And a few videos ago, we talked about the team that traded Gobert, the Utah Jazz, and how they are off to a great start to this NBA regular season, even while trading their two former stars, Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. But the team that acquired Rudy Gobert, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are coming off a playoff appearance in a series where they came short in a loss to Ja Morant and the Grizzlies, acquired Gobert, and they have really struggled to start this season. And today we're going to be talking about those struggles and what has gone wrong so far for the now 6-8 Minnesota Timberwolves. First off, Anthony Edwards has not played up to par so far. Edwards, entering year 3, was someone that many people thought would make a run for the Most Improved Player award. Coming out of Georgia, he was an electric scorer, someone who's just an athletic specimen, and he's been really good through his first 2 years in the league. And entering year 3, Minnesota went all in on Gobert because they believed Edwards would make a big jump in his third year in the league. And so far, that really just hasn't been the case. Edwards, he's been a bit out of shape to start the season. He's looked a bit bigger. Now, he'll probably play himself into shape, but so far, he has not been great. And while he is still averaging 21 and 6 so far this season on around league average true shooting, he really just hasn't had that same burst and quickness he's shown in his first 2 years. And a lot of people think that is because he has, started this season not in the best shape. And that's really got to be a concern for the Timberwolves, because there was an interview earlier where he was talking about where he really does not eat and take care of his body as much as he could. And he eats a lot of Popeyes, he said in an interview. And really, they need Anthony Edwards to be that guy for them. And so far, he hasn't been bad, but he hasn't made that jump they've expected out of him through 14 games. Something that's even more concerning for the Timberwolves so far is the extremely poor play of D'Angelo Russell. Now, Russell is somebody that 2 years ago, they gave up Andrew Wiggins and a first-round pick for at the trade deadline. And he was part of their run to the playoffs last year, but was inconsistent in that series versus Memphis. And he's really struggled to shoot the ball this year and last year at the end of the regular season. He's been in a slump for a pretty long time. Last season, in the final 20 games of the season, Russell shot 29%. And so far this year, Russell is averaging just 14 and 6 on under league average true shooting. We know he's not a good defender either. He's really struggled this season, shooting 41% from the field and 33% from 3. And while he's performed well in their last two, as he had 30 and 11 in their win versus the Cavs, overall this season, he's definitely been a disappointment, was inconsistent during the playoffs, and really at the end of the regular season last year, did not shoot the ball well either. He's a very inconsistent player, and he's been in the league too long to be playing like this. He's got to find some level of consistency, and he has improved as a leader on the defensive end, but as a one-on-one on-ball defender, D'Angelo Russell has never been that good. And he's got to be better on offense, especially shooting the ball. But he could also still improve as a playmaker. But especially shooting the ball, Russell's got to be better. And I think if this Timberwolves team wants to go far, he's going to have to be a key part in that. And they need him to give them more on the offensive end. But now talking about the two Twin Towers, the guys this team is supposed to be built around, Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. Now, part of what makes Karl Anthony Towns so dangerous on the offensive end is his just immense shooting touch for someone of his size. And we saw last year in the Memphis Grizzlies series, with how good of a shooter he was, being matched up against Steven Adams, someone who's more of a bruiser and really not that mobile for a big man. And Adams was having a really solid year for the Grizzlies. They were able to play Adams off the court in that series because he could just not stick with Karl Anthony Towns. And he's just a matchup nightmare on the offensive end because we know he's a physical presence, but he's also just such a great shooter. Very well, maybe the best big man shooter in today's NBA. And while you acquire Gobert, obviously you're improving a lot on the defensive end, which was a problem with Towns in that series. He was also very inconsistent on the offensive end in that series as well, and got into foul trouble. And with Gobert, while you take a lot of pressure off of Towns defensively to, anchor a defense while being really the offensive engine for this team, you're also taking away part of his ability to exploit matchups at the center position offensively, as he will be playing the 4 now. And a lot of modern day NBA 4s can guard multiple positions, and that does definitely hurt Cat on the offensive end. But so far this year, his production has still been good, and out of all the guys we've talked about in this video for Minnesota, he's definitely been their most consistent performer so far through 14 games, putting up 21, 9, and 5, shooting 36% from 3, 51% from the field, and 63.3% true shooting. As for Rudy Gobert, he's been putting up 14 and 13 so far this season. He's rebounded the ball very well, and he has continued to be one of the best defenders in basketball. He was receiving some criticisms earlier in the season, as he did go through a slump where he had 2 points in just the span of 6 quarters. But overall, I think Gobert has done his job for the most part. And with the Rudy Gobert trade, obviously the Timberwolves got a lot stronger with their interior defense, gaining the best rim protector in the league. But they also lost 2 of the best perimeter defenders on their squad in Jared Vanderbilt and Patrick Beverley, both trading them to Utah. And Patrick Beverley, not only his defense, but his three-point shooting and leadership clearly had a very positive effect on this team, and they are missing him so far, as there clearly has been a lack of communication on the defensive end, which is another problem. As they got Gobert, the rest of their team isn't full of very good perimeter defenders. D'Angelo Russell certainly isn't good. Anthony Edwards has the tools to become good, but he is not right now. Karl Anthony Towns also has the tools to be good, but is not right now. And Jaden McDaniels is another player who has the tools to be really good and has been really good in spurts, but so far this year has not been great. McDaniels, though, is shooting above 50%. And is shooting 36% from 3 so far. And I do think they did a really nice job being able to keep him in the Gobert trade. I really like his ceiling as a player, but he still has a ways to go. He is going to have to be a key part of this Timberwolves squad, though, this year, if they want to make a run, as he is playing 29 minutes a night so far. And as we've said, he's shown some real spurts of being a really good player. He's super long. He can shoot, but he's got a lot on his shoulders this season, as just in his 3rd year, the Timberwolves are really counting on him to be their best perimeter defender this year. Looking at the depth on this team, 2 real key pieces off the bench for the Timberwolves are Kyle Anderson and Jordan McLaughlin. The Timberwolves have been a much better team when these guys are on the floor, and they may play key roles for this squad, both veterans that really are smart guys and just make the right play a lot. And I mention them because this team, one of their strengths was the solid amount of depth they had last season. Now, they did keep Jalen Noel as well in the Rudy Gobert trade, and I think Noel's a nice backup guard who can score the ball. But they lost Malik Beasley, Vanderbilt, and Patrick Beverley, as well as Walker Kessler, who they had just drafted, and a boatload of picks. And overall, with the Minnesota Timberwolves, where we're talking about them, I think they have to balance how good Rudy Gobert can be on the defensive end with how he sets them back somewhat on the offensive end, as it really takes away Cat's ability to exploit matchups at the center position at times. And Cat has still been very good, but the on and off numbers do support the point that on offense they are better without Gobert on the floor. And also, while acquiring Gobert, they got the best rim protector in the league while losing their maybe two best perimeter defenders in Vanderbilt and Patrick Beverley. The Minnesota Timberwolves are in a tough spot to start this year for a variety of reasons, and while he has gotten some of the flack and attention for their poor start so far, I really do not think this is on Rudy Gobert. He has played pretty much like he's played these past few seasons, averaging a lot of boards, being alright on the offensive end, being solid, and being tremendously good at protecting the rim. In making this trade, the Timberwolves should have known what they were getting in Gobert, someone who clearly isn't going to get much better, but is in his prime right now as a player. Really, making this trade, they clearly were expecting a huge year 3 jump out of Anthony Edwards, and so far that hasn't been the case. And besides Edwards, D'Angelo Russell has struggled to regain his Brooklyn Nets form since leaving. Well, his form consistently, and they lost some key role players in this trade, which is why I don't think this was a great trade for Minnesota, because of the fit that Rudy Gobert brings, and not because of the player Rudy Gobert is, as he is great on the defensive end and will make up for a lot of your team's defensive deficiencies, but he cannot make up for all of them, and we've seen that so far with Minnesota. Overall, it may have been a little too early for Minnesota to go all in with this core, and it might not have been the right player that they went all in for. They still have the makings of a team that could make the playoffs. And if they want that to happen, some of the main things they are going to need are Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell playing better, as well as Jaden McDaniels stepping up as a perimeter defender, and their bench giving them more. Comment below if you think the 6 and 8 Timberwolves have a good future ahead of them and will turn things around fully, or if the Rudy Gobert trade was a complete mistake and they will live to regret it. I thank y'all for watching, and peace out.